Arsenal 3, Fulham 0. We did our job. You know what I mean? We did our job. We did what we needed to do. This goes to show, man, about keeping the faith. Keep the faith. Oh, yeah. It's about believing. Hi there guys, it's your boy Dashiki Dash and welcome to a Dash of the Gunners. Come on man, you already know this is where I talk about all things Arsenal related, hot topics and trending stories. Okay, Arsenal 3, Fulham 0. We did our job. You know what I mean? We did our job. We did what we needed to do, get the 3 points, and not just the 3 points, you know, stacking up them goals. Because it might come down to the goal difference, as tight as it is right now. But it's a fantastic win, a fantastic performance. Look, after the Bournemouth performance and loss at the Emirates, most of us were thinking, oh my days. Boy, I don't know. But this goes to show, man, about keeping the faith. Keep the faith. Oh, yeah. It's about believing. All right. And just bringing back that feel-good factor. So that performance against Newcastle, although some may have said it was a bit shaky, but we won 1-0, all right? That was step one, as Arteta was saying, match week 1 out of the 5-game run-in for this title. So we won 1-0, fantastic in terms of getting the 3 points. And then Fulham at home, 3-0, a better performance. We're seeing the likes of Gyokeres scoring 2 goals a brace, assisting. And then we're seeing Saka as well, coming back from his injury, looking more like the old Saka, dropping players on their bums and all of that. And then obviously scoring and assisting himself. That was like his first goal at the Emirates since December. It's been a long time. He's had a very tough season, man, dealing with obviously form, injuries, all of that. But it was so good to see the old Saka, just, you know what I mean, performing and helping towards getting us the 3. But he's our guy. He's our guy. There's many a times this season I've been like questioning the star boy title, not in a disrespectful way, not trying to belittle him, but it was just more like, all right, cool. He needs to now step up a level. We can leave the star boy to other young talents coming up right now. But I'm not going to take that title away from him, man, because he is still our star boy. He is still our talisman. And it just goes to show you, like, when a Saka is fully performing, yeah, he's there to help us. He's there to help us. Before I jump into this video, because I want to be talking about, you know, our game against Fulham. And I'm also going to talk about our game against Atletico. And also just how, yeah, I think like this Champions League semi-final is kind of going underneath the radar a little bit in terms of the significance of it all. And you know what I mean? Like, we're in a semi-final, one more game away from making it to our second Champions League final. It's crazy. Not getting spoken about in high regards. And I know, because we're going for the Premier League and that's what we covered. That's our bread and butter. We're desperate to win the Premier League. But guys, we're one game away from making it to the Champions League final. But anyway, before I jump into the video properly, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Smash that like button, comment, subscribe, share it with all your friends and families. And just as important, make sure that you press the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my shows. And I just want to say a big, massive thank you to those that have, you know, been engaging, subscribing. I appreciate all the love and support. And, you know, I'll always try my best to give you the content that you need and want, so we can obviously chat about Arsenal. All right, cool. So, like I said, Arsenal beating Fulham 3-0. Fantastic result. A great performance. I'm going to name a couple of players that I thought to myself, goodness me, yes, this is the levels that we want to see. And obviously scoring the 3 goals. It's likely to come down to goal difference. I hope it's not. I hope it's a case that we win outright points, so that, you know, my heart, man, it's getting to that, you know, that point of the season where you just, man. But it was fantastic to obviously score the goals that we needed to score, and also just to be able to see the team score more than one goal. Because we've been struggling for goals, man. But on this occasion, we looked a lot fluid. We looked a lot braver in our approach to the game. The crowd, the fans, they were up for it. Shout out to the fans, man. I've been ultra critical about our fan base. You know what I mean? And it's not to belittle anyone or to disrespect our fan base. It's just to put things into perspective. Like, we are the 12th man. We're needed just as much as we want those players to perform. Us fans also have a responsibility in making sure that we show up. We give the players the energy. Because look, man, it's tough right now. At this stage of the season, it's tough. What are we now, like 32 games into the season? 35 games into the season. And we're asking for the players to give their all. So we have to give our all as well. So it's fantastic to hear the crowds, the fans singing, chanting, every tackle. They were making noise. They were up for it. And that's what we want to hear from the fans. The significance of that win is that we've gone 6 points at the top of the table, albeit Man City have 2 games in hand. By the time this video comes out, you watch it, Man City should have either played their game against Everton or they're playing a game against Everton. So I look at that game and think, ooh, it could be a tricky game for Man City. My heart is hoping, willing, praying, wishing for Everton to be able to do something. My head obviously tells me in a more sensible manner that Man City are no joke. Like, when they're going for trophies, when they're pushing to the limit, you know, they're able to go to any ground and get a victory. Or, you know, it could be 1-0 or it could be a absolute beat down. So I don't know. Fingers crossed. Many are saying that this is going to be a tricky game for Man City. So let's see. Let's see. At the end of the day, as much as we're hoping for Man City to drop points, we have to do our job. So like I said earlier, you know, the fact that we, you know, a little bit of a trip and a stumble against Bournemouth at home, losing. Then the following games, shaky win against Newcastle, albeit we won. And then Fulham, a fantastic win, 3-0. So we just got to keep doing what we need to do. That's, like I said, match week 2 out of the 5-game running. So we've got 3 games left. Our next game is against West Ham. So that's going to be another, you know, real test for us. But in terms of the Fulham game, some mentions, man. Gyokeres scoring 2 goals, a brace. I've been a big, I can say, I've been very critical of Gyokeres. And you know, I'm open enough to say that it's not a bad thing, but my critique of the player is more so in terms of I've just wanted to see more from him. Yes, I might have been, I could be harsh at times. I could be like maybe ultra demanding, but this is the levels that we need to be playing at. And this game, I will say it, that this is probably the best game I've seen Gyokeres play for Arsenal. I think that was his best game. It wasn't a game that where he was always dropping on the floor, not winning his battles. He controlled the ball a lot better, although I feel that he can do better when he's obviously got his back to the defender and he's leaning back and being able to cushion the ball. He can get better at that. But laying it off, passing it, you saw the assist to Saka. You know, he turns around, you know, faces the defender square on and then makes the pass. And then Saka obviously slots it in and scores. So it was a brilliant game. You probably would have been a bit disappointed coming off because, you know, the hat-trick was there. He had one opportunity where he opened up his body. He was trying to, you know, curl it out far post. But goalkeeper obviously snuffed it out. But Leno. But yeah, man, fantastic game. And this is what we need from him, man. From here on out to the end of the season, we need those types of performances. So shout out Gyokeres. Shout out Saka. You know, I've questioned his star boy status, But all in all, he's had a difficult season, injuries. Obviously last season he had a major injury. So then coming back into this season, I feel like maybe that's been a bit of a hangover in regards to his injuries from last season coming into this season. But he obviously dealt with an Achilles issue, and we all know, well, if you don't know, an Achilles is probably one of the worst injuries you can have in sports in general. All athletes, sports stars, an Achilles injury is one of the worst. Lucky enough, it wasn't as bad as we first thought it would be, and he's been able to make his return, and a fantastic return at that, man. Laying the players down on their bums, sweet, and then just obviously cutting it across the goal in the 6 yard box. That's where you want Gyokeres to be at. This is what I've been demanding from Gyokeres, just to be more hungry when that ball is being flashed across the goal. There was even one time earlier on, I think it came out from the left-hand side and it went across the goal. And I think to myself, Gyokeres, that's where you need to be at. But then he showed it when the ball came out from the right. So fantastic from both players. Couple mentions, because I'm not going to go through the whole team. Myles Lewis-Skelly playing in that middle role, giving us a bit of a throwback to, Partey. And yeah, man, a brilliant performance, man. You know, many have been asking for Lewis-Skelly to be able to play in that middle, taking over Zubimendi. Zubimendi needing a much-needed rest, much-needed rest. And it was just very good to see that we have a player that can come in and assume that position and play it very, very well. Very press resistant. You know, he's on the half turn, breaking the lines is what we've needed pretty much all season. This is not taking anything away from Zubimendi, because I felt like earlier on in the season, Zubimendi was doing that fantastically well. But maybe because of fatigue, being tired, and being more pragmatic in terms of our football, he's not been doing that as such. So fantastic from MLS, as they're calling him, a Major League Skelly. What a performance. And you could just see, man, at the end of the game, the hugs, the embrace between player and manager. And for me, that highlighted everything that has to be said in regards to people worrying about, Skelly might be sold, or like we need to sell that, our Haaland boys. Listen, don't worry. I've been saying this many a times on my platform, that we need to understand the education that these young players need. They're going to need time on the bench. They're going to need time where their perspective of the game is, you see it from the bench. You go through the ups and downs of being in a title running team. You know what I mean? So people just need to relax and have faith. You know, not too long ago, people were going crazy about Saliba going out on loan and stuff like that. People are still going a bit crazy about one year going out on loan. This is all part and parcel of players' education, and it will make them better players for it. Because imagine you're playing these players way too early before their time, and then if it doesn't go well, that just crumbles and crushes their confidence, and it's very hard to build these players back up. You know what I mean? So fantastic performance from Myles Lewis-Skelly. Declan Rice is Declan Rice. He's performing well again, dropping more into that number 6 role, playing from deep, controlling, receiving the ball, and just being able to add that needed reinforcement for the defenders at Saliba and Gabriel. You know, like I said, I can mention the whole team. I like the way Calafiori played. Trossard, I've been onto him as well. But he produced moments in terms of like getting that cross in, and I was screaming and shouting because he loves doing that pirouette, chopping and changing his angles, but he managed to dink it. And then Gyokeres getting a headed goal, where many people always say like, oh, he doesn't score headers and stuff like that. So, showing that he's capable of doing that. So that was a fantastic win, man. Just puts us in that position. Like I said, we're 6 points ahead right now, albeit that Man City have 2 games in hand. In the midst of that, let me get onto some Champions League, some Europe. So in the midst of that performance in the Premier League, we've played Atletico away. Drew 1-1 with them. It was a brilliant result and brilliant performance more so. This is where we was able to see Declan Rice in that sixth role again, performing so well, causing Atletico problems in terms of like shutting down their main players such as Griezmann and Alvarez from properly getting onto the ball and dictating and doing things like that. So this was one of those performances where I was thinking to myself, yeah, man, we can take so much from this game. And when we go back to the Emirates, we should be able to do this. Now, I want to highlight something quickly. With all the, our mind and where it's at in regards to success and trophies, it's all been put on the Premier League, right? That's what everybody wants because we've suffered, man. Second, man. We were tired of the seconds. So I've seen, and the feeling that I've got from people, even myself, is more like, yo, we got to get this Premier League. But guys, we are in the semi-final, second leg semi-finals of the Champions League. We're one game away, one brilliant result away from getting into our second Champions League final. And once we get into the final, listen, guys, what will be will be. Anything can happen. It's a one game, one chance, one opportunity. You never know what could happen. And I know a lot of people are saying that, on the other side of the footballing tie of the Champions League, you're like the likes of Bayern Munich and PSG, especially the epic game that they had. Everybody's saying that the winner is basically in that tie over there. So the winner out of PSG and Bayern Munich, PSG, is basically going to win the Champions League. And I refuse to subscribe to that notion because when it comes to matches and all that styles makes fights, innit? As the old saying goes in boxing. And it's similar to that in football as well. So just because we saw a crazy epic game against PSG and Bayern Munich and 9 goals and all of that kind of stuff doesn't mean that it's going to be like that against one of the teams, albeit be Arsenal or Atletico. Hopefully it's Arsenal. So getting into the final, you just never know. And it's just a brilliant season. Guys, we're having a fantastic season. This is where it just gets me so mad sometimes when you're hearing fellow Arsenal fans just going crazy and crying and moaning and all these kinds of, so many fans have given up. They've not been able to hang. They've not been able to hack it. They've not been able to sustain the support that is needed for such a brilliant season. This could be one of our greatest seasons of all time. Forget about the Invincibles, and that's not me taking anything away from that achievement. But just to know that the possibility of winning the Premier League, the possibility of winning the Champions League, you know what I mean? It's there, man. It's there. We can obtain this success. We just got to believe and hope that the players can bring it through. And listen, if we win the Premier League on its own, fantastic. If it was just the Champions League, fantastic. I'm probably being a bit greedy. How greedy. Asking for both. Not asking, but just hoping that we get both. But look, I'm enjoying the season, man. I am enjoying the season. I'm keeping the faith. I'm choosing to believe. I'm choosing to support. I'm willing the boys to just get it over the line, man. Get it over the line, boys. And listen, so our next game in the Champions League is the second leg of the Champions League. Sorry, I've just lost my train of thought there. So that is coming up next. And then after that is the West Ham. So if we're taking one game at a time, let's deal with the Champions League. Let's get to the final. And then we're going to have a tricky game away to West Ham, which I'll touch on more. I think that would deserve another video in itself after the Champions League. I'm not going to give my predictions in terms of score lines and stuff like that when it comes to the Champions League because, I just always feel that's not my domain. But I am very hopeful in terms of a brilliant performance, first and foremost. We've got to show them what the Emirates is all about. I'm hearing that they're going to bring out the big tifo and all of that kind of stuff. So bring that out. Yeah, stay away from the toilet paper and all that kind of stuff, man. Because, yeah, there was too much toilet paper at their ground. But yeah, let's make some noise. Go out there. Everyone that's going to the match, make some noise, cheer on the boys. And I'm telling you, the energy that's going to be made at that stadium, at the Emirates, is going to carry us across that line, man, for us to make the Champions League final. And imagine making the Champions League final, the energy that is going to give us to then go on for the next games. I'm telling you, man. Wow, I'm so excited, man. I don't think you understand how excited I am. I'm trying to hold it together. But look, chill. Anyway, fantastic. If you like the whole video in itself and you've made it this far, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with all your friends and families. And just as important, make sure that you press the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my shows. I'm on other platforms such as Instagram, as a Dash of the Gunners. I'm also on TikTok as well, a Dash of the Gunners. So any shorts, any funny clips, I'll pull it up on there. So make sure that you go and follow me there and share it with all your friends and families once again. Anyway, until the next time here on a Dash of the Gunners. Come on, boys. We're so close. Peace.